Peace, queens and kings, if you stopping by. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your sis Kathy Yvette with the next recap and review of Zatima episode 9. Now, was that intense or was that not intense? But please tell me why. Did you wonder the same thing? Why didn't the doctor, as he was making his rounds around the table, not mention Fatima's status, her past issues and traumas, and what he thought about her? Because we're not going to act like a sister don't got problems either, right? Okay, let's get ready to get into it. Now, when we left off last week, it was Zach out in the driveway. He just had his little powwow with Deja, trying to relax from his trauma inside with dealing with Bryce. He didn't want to deal with him. So up pulls Mr. Therapist. Now, he was real cool. I like the brother's vibe. Zach complimented him on, what initially he came up asking for Angela. He said she inside. Then they both had exchanges regarding their cars. And Zach was saying, how he needed an upgrade. And, the brother was saying he's good with a good old-fashioned gas car. I don't know, must be something fancy, maybe a Tesla electric car. So, so they had that little exchange. Then he talked about playing ball. You tall. He said, he did it back in the day. So he was chopping it up regarding that because, Zach loves his basketball. So they go inside. And now we have this whole uncomfortable situation at the table. Now, they sit down. First, when they come in, it's like so awkward. I'm like, Fatima, why did you set this up that way instead of just being, awkward from the door? Because it like Zach said, it's an intervention. And now this stranger who, evidently Bryce don't know anything about him, because I doubt if he's meeting him for the first time. I doubt if Angela said anything. I don't know. She might have. I don't know how much he knew about this guy coming, but you would have thought he was a 3-piece chicken dinner. And I'm talking with some cabbage on the side and some good mac and cheese. You hear me? Not that dry stuff they was showing up in IG from old girl's mama. You know what I'm talking about. None of that. This was, I'm talking some good grandma's mac and cheese, cabbage, cornbread, and some good crispy fried chicken. He looked at that man like he was a whole meal, Sunday meal. I'm like, Bryce, get back. This man is not here for none of your fetishes, okay? So, they all sat down. You could tell Fatima was all awkward. And that whole meeting, put in the comments, please, I want to hear what you got to think about this whole little session at the table. But when I tell you, it was the most powerful, honest session from just that little squabble from what everyone was saying. The doc summed it up really, really good and got to the basis. And a lot of our traumas are like that. We get into these relationships, we bring in stuff that we have not dealt with our past, or something that we still going through with our insecurities. So, got my little notes so I don't forget nothing now. As they were talking, Zach was about to get up and leave. It wasn't working, so Fatima basically had to come out and confess that this is not Angela's friend. This is doctor. He's a therapist. He's good with black men, and I wanted him, to speak with you. And then Zach said the honest to God truth. Why am I the only one with a problem? Like, you don't have any issues. I never said that. Well, you do. Stop acting perfect, Fatima, because a lot of your craziness, you got some past traumas you got to deal with as well. The issues you dealing with your dad, your mother, your stepfather, just your whole family dynamics, the stuff that you've been involved with Madam, being your cousin. So it's a lot. And you bringing in that stuff into a relationship too. So you have two broken people that really need to get some work done. That's what I said initially when I started reviewing this story, is Zach and Fatima are a great example of two good people, but who should have waited before they got into a relationship or into anything serious and worked on themselves alone, because they both got out of previous relationships that weren't healthy at all, toxic situations, and then they have their own childhood stuff. So unless we really work on things, we tend to, and that's all of us, we're gonna bring that stuff with us, I'm sure. I know I've been married before, divorced, and I know I brought my crap into it, just like my ex-husband did. And a lot of us, especially in the black community, don't get help for these things, and we really do need to. So that's sidebar. So I'm glad this brother really was just watching just from the incident, because Zach was too uncomfortable to speak. So Bryce said he'll jump in it. No, Angela said we gonna talk because she, he kissed him, and I knew about it. Fatima told it, and Bryce really was uncomfortable, but she was like, yeah, that, well, I'm not saying it verbatim, but she explained the situation with them, the whole trying to figure out if Bryce is gay and making a pass at him. And so they were arguing about that, and he was talking about he was excited. He thought, Zach was flirting at him. He's like, I didn't give you any impression whatsoever. I said I wanted your brain on Fatima's body and mesh it together. If I can marry that would be great. That's an analogy. He took it as a pass, and that wasn't the case. And he was like, no, I don't want to have sex but nobody but her. And he was talking to Fatima, and she was like, that's right. I'm not into swinging. He wasn't looking for any type of relationship like that. No, this is not going down, because Bryce said, I thought that this was something that could possibly happen. Him and Angela with Fatima and Zach. Are you serious, bro? You just got decked from trying to kiss a man who he thought was your totally straight friend and business partner, and disrespected him and went across those boundaries, only to turn around and now thinking I'm gonna get down with you and swing with my girl. Bryce, yeah, he needs a counseling session in and of itself. It has nothing to do with your sexuality or what you're into, bro, but it's your respect for boundaries, and stop being pushy. When people say no, they mean no. When they not interested, they not interested. But he can't accept that. It's what he wants, and he sees it as a way of someone maybe putting him down or discrediting him, or huge form of rejection. So you could see that there's a lot with that situation as well. And if the therapist probably heard more Bryce's story in their engagement with each other with Zach, he probably would have realized that as well. So after they went through that whole thing, he said, I'm gonna let you know what's going on. He started with Zach. He said, Zach, so many black men who are not raised with their fathers really don't know their fathers. They tend to, they go to the streets. A lot of times it's gangs. They get messed up in illegal activities. It's the street family and environment that they cling on to. So, your relationship with Bryce was misconstrued. Basically, your niceness and generosity was misread by Bryce, and you appreciated him doing stuff for you, the work relationship, like a big brother. So that is something that he longed for, and that's what a lot of brothers out there long for, just that need of something that they missed in their home, whether it's mom or whether it's dad. In this case, it's dad that he was talking about. So Zach didn't say anything, because I'm sure that's nothing that he can disagree with. I don't know if Zach even knows his father, but there was no relationship with him, and that takes its toll. He didn't have any example of what it's like to be a man or lead a relationship, except from what your friends show you out there. A lot of times that's not a good, because they only going by what they know in their households, which is probably dysfunctional as well. So yeah, you haven't had the best advice on how to deal with relationships, and women as well. A lot of times we don't see healthy relationships in our homes, and so we bring that toxicity into our personal ones. So he got into that, and he explained that on Zach. He even then hit Angela. He was like, I don't know Bryce, so he really didn't get into Bryce. But Angela, he was like, your issue with you is you got a lot of insecurities going on, because one of the embarrassing things that Bryce did say is that he had a fetish for large women, and I'm like, yo, and I, in the back of my mind, I was thinking that might have been something too, but everybody have their fetishes and what they like and don't like. But she took that as an insult, and who wants to be a fetish? That's just like interracial couples. A lot of times, we don't want to get involved, black women with white men, because we looked at something, as a fetish, something you always was curious about, and no one wants to feel that you're doing something out of a fantasy and you don't love me as a person, as to who I am, but my size or my color or my race or whatever thing about me you like, that's what you're stuck on. No one wants to feel like that. So yeah, he felt that he worded it wrong, but it was kind of annoying and a turn off to Angela, and I really don't blame her. But the doctor told her, that what you do, because he says Bryce told her that he wasn't into labels, when she asked him if he was gay, and she said, well, I am. Everything I got on is designer, because a lot of times we put on brands and we wear certain things to make us feel better. If I have this status and I have all the Louis and the Chanels or whatever, that's gonna make me better as a person, what I put on. But it's really the inside that matters. It's not the things that you put on. And he saw it that fast. He said the dress, the hair, the makeup, you covering up something. You covering up a lot of pain that you got going on inside, or something to that effect. But yeah, and she just sat there, with her head down, because there's some truth to it. So I don't know why he didn't hit on Fatima, because I'm sure, just like he said in the office, you saw something with her too. But I guess he wanted to not start those waves, and I hope we see from the doctor in the future, and they go through therapy with him, and he sees and calls her out on her stuff too. So yeah, he said, listen, I'm here to talk. That's what his so far his diagnosis was. I'm here, if you want to talk. If not, I'm leaving. And thanked her for the meal, and he went on. And so that was that, and it was a very uncomfortable situation. So now you have Bryce and Angela speaking. So to make a long story short, she basically told him, I'm not having it. I'm not into it. It's one thing if you said, maybe you were into a threesome with me and another man, but I don't even want to see you with another man. So I'm not trying to change you. I'm not mad at you. He apologized for the fetish comment about her size. She was like, that's that. But that's not my main concern. It's the fact that you want other men just like me. So that's the thing, and she's not with it, and you should not force yourself to get into something for any man that you uncomfortable with. And so he has to respect that, because one of the things Bryce is not respectful of boundaries, and he's very pushy. And I don't know if he sees it as a form of rejection, because he has that little boy ways about him sometimes. Like, he gets real jumpy. He wants to be accepted by Zach. He wants him to be close. There's things in his childhood that I'm sure that feeling of acceptance that he may not have when he was younger. And he has that attraction for both sexes, So regardless of your persuasion, that's on you. But respect those who are not with it. And that's anything with the LGBTQ community. A lot of times it's a double-edged sword, because if you say you're not with something or you don't accept it, you're labeled as a bad person. But it's not that. You do what you want, but everybody's going to have an opinion just like you have an opinion. So I think both sides of the spectrum, whether you're heterosexual or from the community, we need to respect one another. So we're all in this world together. No one here can judge but God at the end of the day. We can all have an opinion, but whatever that is, be respectful and move on from that. And I think that's what it's about. Both sides just respecting. So that's one thing Zach, not Zach, Bryce needs to learn. Just respect the differences and the fact that everybody's not going to accept, your lifestyle. So Zach now gets a call. They're at home. He's pissed off with Fatima. She's taking out the garbage, and she wanted to know, why you just didn't tell me. She was like, that the garbage need to be taken out. And she was like, because I'm not going to argue with you. Did you not see it sitting there? So it's a way we communicate and say things. She could have been like, babe, can you take the garbage out, please? I'm sure he would have taken it. It wouldn't have been an argument. It's something so small, but then they making all of these small incidences something big. A lot of times we do this when we're mad with somebody. And also, when ladies, those of us who have been maybe single for a while and independent and used to doing things on our own, it's really hard sometimes to remember you have a man there to help you with things. Because Zach brought it up, the situation with the tire. Why didn't you call me? Men need to feel needed. If they don't feel needed by you, they don't feel that there's a place for them in your life. And we tend to forget that sometimes because we have been strong and independent for so long. And I'm at the point now where I would love to let my guard down, let somebody take this cape off my back and roll with it, so we can breathe and just enjoy our feminine side. But sometimes due to circumstances, we had to do everything. And it's hard to lay that down because we don't want to feel like, you to think that I'm needy, or then if we do need you for certain things, then on the flip side of that, we may be used or taken for granted, dependent on a man too much. But it's that give and take for each other, and we just got to remember that, ladies, because we don't want our men to feel that they're not needed, period. And so they got into that, and so he's getting ready to go play ball. He don't want to argue with Fatima. He goes to leave now. Fatima's recapping the night when she gets outside with the garbage with Angela and tells Angela tells her what happened. Bryce is gone. How's everything with you and Zach? She was like, Zach is being Zach. And like, where is just regular good men in this world? Where are they at? We can't seem to find them. There's always some type of issue. I'm sure men can say that with some of us who get a little crazy as well. But it's just a lost art. The science of mating was something that wasn't taught to us. When we were brought on these shores, we missed a lot of things that we should know as black people. Mating wasn't one of them. Finance wasn't one of them. Business, a lot of these things were taken away from us, and now we're playing catch up, trying to learn these things and getting our lives and relationships and families in order. And we have to regain those lost arts. And so it's just a point of miscommunication a lot of times, lack of understanding, empathy, and just learning to listen to each other when it comes to relationships. So yeah, that was Angela thing. A lot of times we say that, where is my king? Where am I going to have a happy, good relationship? But hopefully we can find our other half soon. So then Zach is now at the court, and he's arguing, and with Nate, he won the game. They pissed off with him. And then he sits up there and is always bringing up Connie. What if Connie stopped over, blah, blah, blah. That's what he's waiting on, to get Zach with Connie. And he was like, what? I can't say. There's a lot of things that's going on wrong. I don't know what I would do. He's not even trying to think about that with Connie right now, because he has to get a hold of his own relationship. But here goes the devil throwing something in, a.k.a. Nate, because the devil comes in many forms to give you this temptation to mess up what you're trying to build. And we got to be careful with that. So yeah, there goes Nate with that. But Zach left. I'm glad Connie didn't come back on the basketball court. But yeah. So now as we wrap the episode up, we have Zach coming home from basketball practice, and not basketball practice, from playing basketball, and he gets on the. I would have been like, yo. First of all, I know she could smell the outside. When we used to come in from playing, our mom used to be like, oh, get in to take a bath. I smell outside. You bring it, don't be sitting on the bed. So he bringing his funky behind and getting on her bed, and I'd have blasted him too. So he was like, you smell. He was like, go ahead, do it. She was like, do what? Smell me, because I know you want to see if I was really playing ball. First of all, if she told you don't get your funky butt off, she already smelled you off the bed. So he like, yeah. Now in the meanwhile, while they going through all that, there's a loud knock, like the police at their door. And I'm like, who is this? Number one, I know Deja not that crazy enough to bang on this woman's door like that. And I'm like, who is this? Like, and so they both arguing now on who should get the door. Of course, you know, as a woman, Zach wants to protect this lady. I'll get the door as a man. Stay here. No, Fatima, again, wanna sit up there and put her cape on, and she solved the day because you taking too long for her. Take it down, Fatima. Let the man do his part. You let him go ahead. If you want to go down with him, stay behind him and let him lead, which is hard for many women to do. Let him be the man in this situation. So they go down to the door. He opens it up, and lo and behold, I should have known, it was his brother smoking all in the door. And I'm like, come on, nigga, take care of your mama or whatever. And he's like, what? And behind him, he just barges on in, uninvited. He said, man, you, first of all, Zachary said, you know what time it is. He like, whatever. Take care of your mother. He goes in, disrespectful as he is, and here goes the mother, stammering in, beat up looking. And Zach grabs her like, mom, as she falls to the floor. What is going on? Number one, is this a setup? Like, yo, are you doing this to get away in the house? Did the brother beat his own mother up? Like, got somebody to pay to beat the mother up? I don't trust him to save my life, and I don't trust the mother. So I don't know if this is a total fabrication, that she concocted this together so Zach will feel bad for her and move into his house. Because I'm sure she probably had to get out of this place. Or did someone really do something to her? And because the brother is with her, bringing her, you know, I don't know. I feel bad for mom. Mom really needs some help, but she's for years been in and out of rehabilitation. It has not helped. She has to want the help. Right now, they just scamming on Zach because they know he have money. And this is just another strain to his relationship that now Fatima has to deal with too. So it's about to get crazy. So we about to get in here for episode 10. So stay tuned. In the meantime, please subscribe, share with your friends and family, like, and let's get in and have a conversation on these issues with Zatima. Until next time.